Well, thanks for tuning in. I know this is a little off schedule, but it'll be here. You can watch it later. Bob, the empty chair, is not available today. He he's supposed to be around tomorrow night. He's been having a hard time with his foot. We took up collection to buy some bullets and put him down, just like a good lame horse, but he's starting to recover. I mentioned it before, but he managed to spill a pan of boiling water on his foot and scalded it, and it looked like he was going to rot off last week, but it's healing up. Looks like he's going to survive, and hopefully he learned a lesson about, it looked like it hurt like hell. I'm sure it did. But anyway, poor Bob, and just think well of him. He's hobbling, but I believe he's going to survive. I'm going to do a kind of an abbreviated show. This is not going to be as long as usual, because I just don't have that much to say here by myself. I hope you'll tune in tomorrow night. I thought we had a pretty good show last weekend. R.L. Henson was good enough to help out, help fill up the space. I'm hearing locally on politics, that's what we usually end up talking about anyways, politics, but I'm hearing that they're having a little problem down there with their construction project, their Justice Center, or whatever they're calling it now. I think they're about to run out of money and they ain't done yet. But that's not surprising. That's the way things go. Well, City of Lafayette just let a contract to the high bidder on the roof, so that's not unusual either. I don't know why they don't put solar panels in down at Lafayette. They've got enough building space down there in that parking lot in the back. They could put in solar panels and we wouldn't even have to pay city taxes anymore. But they probably don't have the same connections that Campbell County does, so probably wouldn't work out as well. I don't know what you think, but I think we're getting hooked to the cleaners in several different directions. But I gave up. I found out that if you try to save people from themselves, the only thing you end up doing is getting stomped in the long run, and it don't make no difference if you do come out ahead and make some good changes. It's not appreciated that much. It passes away. I also found out something. There was a local politician, and I didn't hear him say it directly. It was told to me that he said it, and I believe it, and I don't think he would deny it, but since I didn't hear it, I'm not going to give his name. But he said when you're in politics, you say whatever you need to say, because people forget it the time election comes around anyway, and I think that's true. I think that it's just pretty well confirmed that we, me and you, the citizens and the taxpayers, are idiots. And we are led down the garden path by a lot of people that make us feel like we're a little bit important every 2 years or every 4 years, and they don't care. We have, well, let's say it this way, I can count on the fingers of one hand the people that are in elected office in the city and the county that I think actually have the best interest of the people at heart. But even they can't get elected unless they're just a little bit feeling self-important. Nobody gets elected unless they pumped up just a little bit, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but I'll give them credit for that. When you go out using somebody else's money and squander it and waste it, not only are you doing a disservice to those people, you're just being downright dishonest, and that's what's going on in just about every level of government. You get to the federal level, they really know how to waste money, but they can print more. And every time they print an extra dollar just from scratch, they diminish what we can buy with the dollars that we work for. So if they double the money supply. They have halved our buying power. That means that you go out there and work and you're really feeling good because you've got yourself up to $15 an hour. But if they print twice as much money, you're really only taking home minimum wage. Most people understand economics on some level, and a lot of people actually understand that you cannot create wealth from nothing. But we still allow ourselves to be hoodooed by those people that contend they can do that. I'm going to tell you first about a couple of our advertisers because, as I said, this is going to be an abbreviated session, and I'm going to tell you that Digger Wilson down there in Sawmill Holler, right in the middle of the road, 562-5444, turn off down there at the People's Bank of the South and go up Sawmill Holler. You'll run into him up there. If you ain't careful, you run right into his store. But old Digger, I've known Digger just about as long as I can remember. He was raised on the other side of the hill out there in Grantsboro or Merville. And he went off and done good and come back and done even better. But main thing is he's just an old country boy that don't care to work and is honest and gives you what you pay for. He's got a gas business in there. And I don't want to take away from other people. There's another guy out here just very close to me that's in the propane business, and he's an awful good feller. He used to be in the trucking business. I'm not taking away from him or throwing off on him. But Digger has got what you need. He appreciates your business, and you can talk to him at 562-5444. If you've got any questions about propane and stuff related to that, I'm going to go down there right soon and get him to fix me up. I'm going to burn propane in my house. I've kind of moved around a little bit out there in the country, and I'm going to use propane heat this winter. And I'm going to get him to fix me up so I can do that, because electricity coil goes off, I'm still going to be warm, I hope. And I'm kind of changing a lot of things around in my living situation, mostly because I figure I'm going to be here forever, and it's time to kind of consolidate all maybe go in one direction, just warm, comfortable, and dry. I put a new roof on my house, and you can do that too. If your roof ain't leaking now, it ain't going to leak till next spring. But if you've been noticing you've got some stains on the ceiling or got some buckets sitting around, come down to the Circle R Middle and buy you some roofing and get you some siding and spruce up the outside. And we got sheetrock and windows, doors, we got it all. And the other advertiser I was going to tell you about is that there Dixie Concrete right down the road down here. Them old boys, there's two brothers in business. They started out driving trucks and hauling coal, and I can remember when they would haul coal out and shovel it down the chute and do all that and make $20 a week, and of course that would buy something back then, and everybody's happy. Them old boys know what work's all about. They know what it feels like to be overcharged or treated dishonestly, and they don't do that. They're down there on old Jacksboro Pike, right here behind me down here. I could holler real loud on a clear night, and if they could still hear, they could hear me, but they're getting old too. Main thing I want you to know is if you need any concrete or any concrete related products like, rebar and that there wire mesh and all that stuff that goes with it, and they know how to mix it for different situations. They can make you something as slick as that floor they've got down there at Food City. Look at that sometime you're in there. They have septic systems. They have sand and gravels, and they're just real good people. I think their phone number is 562-5656, but if that's wrong, look it up in the book. And if you call the wrong person, tell them I said I'm sorry. So, It appears to me that we are finally going to get our doghouse back open sometime. And of course, the problem, according to some people, is that they don't have enough money is the reason that they can't run the dog shelter. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the problem. The problem is we have got some competing interests, some people that wants to boss and some people that wants to boss, and these people wants to boss and them other people wants to boss, and everybody can't be the boss. And they're not getting along, and there's this fussing and conglomeration down there all the time, and there ain't no use in it, but that's the way it is. The reason I'm so sure that it's not a deficiency of funds is that I don't know how it is now, but a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, Bob and me went over to Union County and looked at their dog shelter, their animal shelter. I was absolutely impressed. They had a whole area there. They had a dog house and a cat house, and it wasn't that kind of cat house where they kept cats. They had some barns out there. They even had a donkey when we were there. They could take care of anything from a pig to a parakeet. And they were operating on just a fraction of what this shelter down here runs on. I'm talking about public funds. So what they did, they had some people there that were dedicated to taking care of animals. They worked cheap if they got paid at all. They went out and they raised money and solicited food donations and stuff, and the property was donated to them. The building was built on a budget, and it was nice. The buildings were nice. We've got a brick mansion out here for animals that will only hold 30 or 40 animals. They had a nice steel building that more than one, but instead of going to, it was nice, it was warm, it was well built, it was modern, but it wasn't brick. But it was a lot cheaper. I mean, it didn't cost near as much to build and to maintain. What I'm trying to get to is we are not having a problem in this county because the public does not, the taxpayers do not provide enough funds to catch dogs, cats. Our problem is we've had some mismanagement, and that starts at the top and comes down. And I don't mean that the people that are actually there on site's the problem. It's the people that are telling them what to do. We have got some problems there, and it ain't gonna get no better until we realize that money is not the solution to every problem. But, you know, I mean, what I know, I'm just a hillbilly. I'm a hillbilly that has run a business all my life, though, and I've had good times and bad times. I've made money and I've lost money, but I've never been on the public dole, and I realize that sometimes you have to make some changes that work instead of just make some changes that takes care of yourself or your friends. I also would like to say, and this has got very little to do with anything around here, but I used to make the statement more than one time. I said that if a black man ever run for president, I'd vote for him. And I'd vote for him because I figured that he would be out to impress everybody with his skills and would try hard to make us a good public servant. I didn't know our first black president was going to be a Marxist with a chip on his shoulder. This guy we've got up there now is determined to pay back the white people for all those terrible things they did to somebody he ain't even kin to. But you can't run a country that way, just like you can't run a doghouse that way. You have to run it on certain established and fundamental principles. In this case, the federal government is based on the rule of law, a constitution that was written that has just absolutely been thrown out the window. It's not the first time it's happened. I'm afraid to hope this, but if we look back through history, we see that things lean different ways all the time. And so far, this country, our government, has been able to right itself when it went too far left or too far right. My opinion, it's never been too far right, but that's just me. I can see how it would be. But anyway, I'm just afraid that there's so much fundamental changes being made to the left that it can never lean back toward the middle enough. We have people that like, for instance, Tea Party. We had a local Tea Party. Part of the same grand crusade that was going on nationwide. And what's it amounted to? It got a few people in positions and then it died out. You cannot sustain a country with by running it the way we're running it now. And I get so disgusted I don't want to fool with it anymore. I've sworn off politics more than once. And if you've watched the show enough, you know that I've just more than one time I've said I don't do politics anymore, and then I end up right back in again. But I'll say this, I'm not out to change the world anymore. I'm not out to save the people from themselves. They just have to take care of it on their own. Just like if you need an auto part, hey, like that Segway. If you've got an old car like I got, needs taken care of, or if you've got a new one that you need some parts for, anything from a windshield wiper blade to a I don't know, parts to rebuild your transmission. Go to Napa Auto Parts. NAPA, that's National Auto Parts Association. The local outlet is a store across from IGA, and keep in mind now that's locally owned. That's not some big vast chain, although they have access to all of the inventory of that vast chain so they can get anything you want. They're right up there, locally owned, and can take care of whatever you need for your lawnmower and your jet ski and your car, and I got it all. 562-9406. That's 562-9406 for all your parts needs. I'm kind of checking on some other stuff going on over here. Nothing important, so don't mean to be distracted. I just something caught my eye and I wandered off. And speaking of wandering off, if you wander off and break your leg and you've got your cell phone with you and you need an ambulance, well, you might want to call 911. And whenever they ask if you need an ambulance, you request that you get vital care. Or you can call yourself at 562-9370. That's Vital Care of Campbell County. They've got superior equipment and personnel, and they're privately owned, so they have to please you or they don't stay in business. They don't just go back down to Jacksboro and ask for some more money if stuff goes wrong. 562-9370. I've about had my say. If you want to disagree with all this foolishness I've been putting forth here, want to argue about it, call us tomorrow night. We'll be up at the radio station and doing cable television on channel 12. Starts at 8 o'clock. You can call us there at 566-1450, and you can set the record straight if you want to. I'm sorry I got it so out of whack, but been fun talking to you. And that's my 20 minutes worth. Thank you, folks. See you.